Um, Thank you. This recording will be available again. I will send a recap email. I appreciate Illinois Extension for hosting our webinars on their YouTube channel. And also, I look forward to featuring you all so that partners can know more about the work that you're doing in broadband with communities throughout the state. That will be something that we look forward to having you all participate in and sharing, actually in more detail in the upcoming year. At this time, again, welcome. It is December. It is holiday season. I know it's either happy season, a busy season, or a combination of all of the above, but I hope it's a pleasant season with you spending time relaxing with your loved ones, as well as, just taking some me time. So thank you all for being here. My name is Alicia Ross. I am one of the three community engagement managers for the Illinois Office of Broadband. Today, we're going to actually have most of our team members that are going to share. We're going to have a year in review from our grants team, permitting team, and the community engagement team. And then, of course, with our partner, Illinois Broadband Lab. And then we're going to have a partner presentations from the Computer Equity Network. You'll learn more about that as we move forward. And there, as always, there'll be some announcements for us to review. We may go a little over time, but if you have to leave, totally understand. Again, want to remind us that our purpose is to inform stakeholders of what the Illinois Office of Broadband, Illinois Broadband Lab, our programming and various opportunities that we've been doing over the past several years. Showcasing community partners, as you will hear today, as you hear in every monthly meeting. And as I'd like to hear from you all, send me an email to let me know this is something that you would like to do a presentation. And then therefore an opportunity for you all to engage with one another. So at this time, I'd like to ask if you would like to share your name, your organization, or the entity that you represent in the chat, please do so, as well as contact information for all of us to get in contact with you and to stay in contact. And so at this time, I'm actually going to move past some of our general housekeeping slides that we go over, but just as a quick reminder, this is our space to engage and work together with one another, to listen to one another, ask questions. Do not be afraid to insert yourself either in the chat or when we have Q&A. We always love to hear from you. We can't do this without you. And so without further ado, I'm going to ask our grants and compliance team to share their updates. And so we have Chelsea. Yeah. Chelsea is our associate deputy director for the Illinois Office of Broadband, and Tim is our grants manager. And the information that you see here is some of the work. They are a backbone that they will be sharing with all of us today.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so thank you, Alicia. I am Chelsea Peters, and I am the Deputy Director for the Office of Broadband. And I've had the pleasure of being on this team now for a year and 4 months, I think. I actually came from Illinois Department on Aging, where I worked for many years in grants, just sort of in a different sort of wheelhouse than this one. I'm joined by my colleague, Tim. And Tim, I'll let you come on camera and introduce yourself as well.
Yep. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Tim Laffey. I'm the manager for the grants unit with the Office of Broadband. I've probably worked with many of you through email or certainly with our staff, the assistant grants managers. So glad to have you on here today. And we wanted to give you a little bit of a background into what our day-to-day life is like.
Thanks, Tim. So, as many of you may or may not know, our grants team sort of works behind the scenes and does really important work in what it takes to execute and monitor a grant. And it's a lot of steps and it's a lot of paperwork, and some people don't find it as exciting as I do. But there is sort of two main buckets of what the grants team does, and there's a lot that falls into the preliminary execution of a grant. And then the second half is the team maintenance and monitoring of a grant during its life cycle. So some of the steps that they do on our grants team to execute a grant includes like establishing the grant goals and making sure that those goals align with like our funding source and the expectation of our funders. And then establishing deliverables for our grantees for that grant so that we can map those out very clearly. And then all of the steps in generating a grant agreement, which not only falls on the Office of Broadband's internal grants team, but also several individuals within Commerce, like accountability, legal, and finance. So it is it's a big undertaking, believe it or not. So, and then some other things that the team does during the preliminary execution of a grant includes reviewing grantee applications. So when somebody's interested in applying for a grant and they apply, our grants team sort of does like a preliminary overview of all of those documents to make sure that grantees have submitted everything that we've asked for, to make sure that the packet that they've submitted is complete and that we don't need any additional documentation and that the documentation they're submitting is appropriate for being considered for the application. Other things they do are reviewing the budget and the project review to ensure that the budgets the grantees put together for the expenses that they're going to utilize during the grant's life cycle is appropriate with like the project, that it aligns, and that those budgets have like the appropriate expenditures within those line items. And then another important role in the time I've been here is establishing standard operating procedures within our division to improve our team's workflow and sort of assignment functions, and to delineate from any bottlenecks that we've had in processes before. So we're always constantly trying to improve on the execution of a grant and just making sure that we're doing our due diligence to get, money flowing to our grantees as quickly and efficiently as possible. And then also signatures are required on a lot of documents. So our grants team's always making sure that documents are signed and completed and everything that's been submitted has been signed where it needs to be. And it's just a thorough process. And then, so the second half of the grants is like the routine monitoring. And Tim, I will kick it over to you if you want to go ahead and talk about like the routine monitoring of a grant during its life cycle.
Sure. Thanks, Chelsea. Yeah, so the monitoring part is really where most of you would be at right now. So our grant managers are on a quarterly basis collecting the reporting, the PPR and the PFR. They take a lot of time looking over those documents, making sure that the supporting documents match and that everything is correct and that the reports have been filled out correctly. So you probably do get quite a bit of give and take with the grant managers at that time. Completely normal, just part of the process. They work extremely hard in those quarters because unfortunately, all of our programs have quarterly reports that are due at the exact same time. So they just get flooded with reports all at one time of the month, 4 times a year. So you can understand why they would be busy going through all of that. Another key aspect that they do with monitoring is handling any modifications to your project. Typically, this would be for a scope of work change or for a budget change, but it does handle or cover several other options for modification. They'll work with you with your request to make sure it is in line with our policies and practices and make sure we can get everything processed in a timely manner. A couple of other factors that our grant managers are taking into account that luckily, in this case, you do not have to deal with. These are for other programs. They have additional state requirements that those grantees have to meet, which would include like the business enterprise program goals, the Illinois Works goals, and making sure prevailing wages are paid. Those are all for our construction projects. So that's all related to the work being done on those projects. And then also with that, when they are done, we have to do a field validation test to make sure that all of the broadband services that they indicate have been constructed are complete and meeting the technology requirements that we had in their scope of work. When it comes to closeout, which many of the DEC programs are closing out or are close to closing out, the grant managers spend a lot of time to make sure that all of the reporting is up to date and current, and that no future issues are going to come into play. And then once we're in good shape there, then we can close out the grants. So some of the reports that the grant managers have to deal with, luckily you do not have to deal with all of these, but you'll see there's the state reports that would include like the quarterly reports, PFR, PPR. We have to report, do federal reports based on what our grantees are doing. We have programmatic and financial reports, just dealing with the progress of our projects and the funding of our projects. So just a few of the fun things that we do every day.
And I'll go ahead and jump in. So it's really important for our team and just to be transparent that our role in grants management is a very large role because it's important for the execution of grants and to ensure good governance of those funding and to make sure that we are accountable for government funded programs and ensure that the materials, the labor, the project, the pricing, and the execution of the grant is done appropriately, and that the grantees are utilizing those funds appropriately. So we feel that what we do is super important here, and we're always looking to improve on that. So thanks, Alicia, for giving us the chance to present. So.
Thank you. I appreciate both you, Chelsea and Tim, for sharing this information so that partners can know who you are and some of the work that you're doing. So thank you very much. Our next team is the permitting team. We have Shauna Tate, who has been leading the team of two at this time, Steph and Sania, and they're going to present a little bit on the work that they've been doing so you can know exactly who is the permitting team and what are their key highlight responsibilities in the Office of Broadband.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alicia. We can go to the next slide. So the permitting and policy team in the Office of Broadband really works on all things deployment and permits needed to deploy broadband infrastructure. So when we're actually putting new internet infrastructure in the ground, we want to make sure, especially if there's grant funds involved, that that can go off without a hitch. And so over the past year, we've done a ton of research and talking to every stakeholder we can get a meeting with to talk about the BEAD program coming next year, all of these internet projects getting off the ground. So we've talked to railroads, labor unions, community members, county engineers, local officials, and the team, as Alicia mentioned, Sania and Stephanie have been leading that work. And so as we're looking at 2026, which is when all of this work really comes to fruition for us, I wanted Sania and Stephanie to be able to share kind of what the folks in this room might be interested to know about as we have $1 billion in broadband grants start to move out the door, because that will be the accumulation of all of the research and focus groups and collaboration they've done in 2025. So I will pass to Stephanie to share some of the work around workforce and what to look forward to.
Yeah, thanks, Shauna. So in terms of BEAD, I'm just going to highlight two of the things related to requirements and compliance. So the first one is prevailing wage, which means that all projects funded by government dollars, which BEAD would fall under this, require the grantees to pay the prevailing wage established by the Illinois Department of Labor. So the link there highlights, based on job title, location, what that rate is that that worker should be paid. The second one, which is Business Enterprise Program, it's also a requirement that each BEAD subgrantee allocates a certain percentage of their project funds to go towards a BEP business, which is a business with more than 51% ownership by women, minorities, or people with disabilities. And then at the bottom, for our office's main goal of trying to spread awareness on the jobs that are going to be working in the BEAD program, we worked to create an Illinois-based broadband jobs board, which is linked there, and it highlights and links to training opportunities as well as open job applications for different positions related to broadband work specifically.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. So a lot of work coming with BEAD in the upcoming year that the permitting and policy team will make sure is in compliance with state policies, and that the folks who are actually building out these projects have all of the staff and workforce that they need. And then Sania is going to share a little bit about the community outreach we're doing and how folks on the ground in these communities can engage in BEAD projects. So Sania, I'll pass to you.
Thank you, Shauna. Thanks, Steph. So yes, how can communities prepare for BEAD? So we want this to be inclusive. We want to utilize our existing resources. So we want the community to stay informed, and we want to share information. So we want to utilize illinoisbead.org to see who's coming in your area. Attending community meetings is going to be critical, and then signing up for our newsletter, which you can find on our LinkedIn page. And we also know that it's crucial to build connections with internet service providers. So proactive reaching out to providers that are coming to your area, inviting those providers to any community meetings, and then helping spread the word about up and coming BEAD projects and deployment in your area. And then also, if anyone in the community has any questions, you can also always direct them to us, the permitting and policy team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks, everybody. And thank you, Alicia, for the chance to talk about some of the work we've done over the past year and what's coming early 26 for us.
Of course. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you, Shauna, Stephanie, and Sania. We appreciate you. And so we're going to move on to the next group, which is community engagement manager team. Many of you know us. You've seen us in your communities throughout the regions, sometimes when we're together presenting or attending events together. But I wanted to make sure you knew who the backbone of our organization or our group is, our team, in addition, of course, to our leader, Devin Brownstein. But we're going to share a little bit about what the community engagement team has been doing in your respective regions. Hillary is going to share. Thank you so much, Hillary.
Hi, everybody. My name's Hillary Rains. I think I've met most of you, but it's exciting to see everyone on the call today. A quick update, because as Alicia said, we've been all over the place this year. Had a lot going on. We went back and we're looking at things and said, gosh, that was this year. It feels like 10 years ago, we've been doing all the work. So across the state, like Alicia said, there's three of us, Alicia, Ling Ling Lu, and myself. And we kind of split up the state, not only geographically, but also in our kind of personal areas of expertise. But we've traveled over 2,000 miles just across Illinois this year, including out of state to a few really great conferences to network all across the nation, which is really, really great. In the northern region where Alicia works, she got to do in-person meetings in every single subregion. So there are 10 economic development regions across the state, and you've got, I believe, 3 of them up there, right, Alicia?
Yeah.
So you got to do in-person meetings all up there, as well as the Reading Northeast El Centro Northeastern University meeting, which was a big deal. In the southern region, where I'm kind of running around, we had a lot of really great stuff this year, but we did also see Salem, Illinois inducted as a smart rural community, which means that every single location within the city limits has the opportunity to get gig fiber speed, which is really, really great. So fiber to the door of every single location in that city. as well as down in Alton, down there in the Metro East area. They just launched a collaboration with the City of Alton, Alton Works, and i3 Broadband to bring 10 gig speeds to the area to really invest in the future of technology in that area. And in the central region where Ling Ling works, they went to a groundbreaking there in Marshall County from Surf Internet. So they are getting started with their big project, and also really got to meet with the Highway Commissioners meeting there in McLean County. That's Bloomington. It's the largest geographic county in the state. So talking with all of the highway commissioners, getting that permitting and all of those things lined out, which is really, really great. Altogether, though, we did our regional engagement meetings for the unfortunately canceled Illinois Digital Equity Capacity Grant, but we traveled all over the state, making sure people knew about that, as well as county level interagency engagement meetings. We traveled with our Team Red counterparts, the regional economic development folks, so road shows all over the state. We did field trips out to looking at data center installations as well as fiber installations. We saw some wireless towers. We got really deep in with the infrastructure this year, as well as a really great panel there for Tech STL in Alton at the Wedge Innovation Center. If you haven't been over there, please go check it out. It's so cool. And then there are some other things that we're doing this year. Next slide, please. There we go. We've got a lot of great things that we also did. Online programming, you'll remember we did tons of webinars getting ready for our grants, as well as our DEC grant community of practice. I see some of those folks in the call today. Good to see you. As well as these wonderful digital equity update meetings monthly so that we keep you guys on top of what we're doing, and you guys get to tell us all the great things you're doing, which is great. We also are doing some new refreshed programming. You'll see that we have our Illinois Tech Reuse Network shortly to be launched. You may have known it previously as the Computer Equity Network. So essentially that's the state, the Illinois Office of Broadband, working with device refurbishers, working with community organizations to not only get devices donated to refurbishers so that they can be put back into the world and not thrown away, but also so that we can get those refurbished low-cost devices into people's hands. So we're very excited about that. You'll see we've got our new logo there, as well as the Eliminating the Digital Divide Fund. So this isn't necessarily a new fund. It's been around for about 21 years, goodness gracious. But it is an opportunity for us. We of course lost out on some of those federal grants, the Digital Equity Act money. This is an opportunity for us to gather funds specifically for digital equity programming, device distribution, things like that, all across the state. So we've got a piggy bank. We're working on filling it up so that we can get that money back out into the world. There is a page on that on our new website. So if you have any questions about the fund or how to contribute to it, because everybody can contribute to it, or, you know, do some fundraising or something, we'll have to take a look at that. But yeah, get some information on that. We've also got our Connect Illinois Round 3 projects are getting started, getting finished up, which we're very excited about. That's about 46,000 locations across Illinois being connected. So we want to make sure that we're telling the state, telling everyone about those projects and the opportunities to get connected. We're also working on supporting the BEAD grantees. So we're finishing up that the last bit of implementation on the planning side, and then we're going to get going. So we're looking potentially shovels in the ground mid-2026 if everything goes well. So we're going to be supporting those grantees, working on digital equity in reentry. So for justice impacted folks, for people who have been incarcerated, who are reentering into the world, making sure to support folks, making sure that they have job skills and digital skills to help them in their journey. as well as trying to get some state folks to donate some of those computers to the refurbishers. So as you might imagine, the state of Illinois has a lot of computers, and that's a big opportunity there. You also have what I'm working on right now is the 2025 Broadband Advisory Council Legislative Report. You might not know, Broadband Advisory Council meets quarterly. That is a legislative council that kind of advises. We've got folks from all over, folks from ISPs, folks from communities, folks from companies and libraries, and everyone who kind of advises us. But we also, because it's a legislative council, we have to do a legislative report. But what we've decided to do the last couple of years is kind of make that our annual report too. So to go really in depth and all of the stuff I've talked about. So that will be released here probably very first of the year. You can see we've got so many photos this year. There are going to be so many photos in that report. Please take a look. We've got all sorts of great folks. We've got everything going on. So if you have any questions, let us know. And we're excited to hand it over to the lab.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Hillary, for sharing all of that. I was thinking of pausing to receive questions because I see there may be some questions and comments coming in on the chat. But before we do that, I first would like to, yes, go to our sister agency, including we call ourselves overall the Illinois Broadband Team. If you have not heard, that is who we are overall. But we're also what within that team is the state side and the University of Illinois side. So I am going to pass this on to our Illinois Broadband Lab team leader to share.
Great. Thank you, Alicia. Hi, my name is Robbie Macbeth. I know many of you. I'm with the Illinois Broadband Lab on the university side at the University of Illinois. So I'm just going to provide some quick updates because you've probably heard from us on these calls throughout the last few months. So just doing a quick highlight of just some things to keep in mind, particularly for this community of digital equity practitioners and others. And so the big news really for this past year, as we've seen some really exciting new additions to the Illinois Broadband Lab team, particularly Charity Freeman as the Senior Director for broadband. She's kind of the new leader of the Illinois Broadband Lab, and she's been doing a really, really great job just kind of getting everything steered in the right direction with all the different initiatives as you're seeing that's going on in Illinois here with digital equity. I also want to introduce, and we've done these on these calls before, but in case you haven't heard, Jacqueline Carmichael or Jackie Carmichael. She's really helping with strategic partnerships with the lab, really kind of working out different industries and sectors and people who may not traditionally think of themselves as involved in broadband or digital equity work, and kind of trying to show them that, you know, all the different kind of benefits and values that digital equity brings to society, to kind of basically kind of expand the picture a little bit of partners and industries involved in this work. And then lastly, but certainly not least, Philip Garrett has joined us. He's working especially hard with Shubika Ardwal in the data side of things at the lab, which is a big kind of arm of what we do. So he's officially a BEAD data analyst, and I'll highlight some of the work that Philip and Shubika have been working on for the past couple of months. So first, as far as updates, you can go to the next slide. Yes, our previous one. We had a special presentation of Digiscape with Nikki Yagoda from the lab here before. So I just wanted to kind of highlight this is a digital literacy curriculum that Nikki and others have worked on. She's given me the heart. Great. Particularly for Partners for Reentry Opportunities and Workforce Development, or the PROUD program. It's really an incredible piece of software. They essentially kind of gamified introductions to both hardware or software, using the computer for the first time. It covers things like cybersecurity, email, copying images, all of these different things that you know, kind of get under the title of sort of like general digital inclusion, but in a really, really interactive and fun way. So definitely stay tuned for kind of more information for that stuff. Really, really excited for that project. The Broadband Ready program has been going on. I've also presented on that here. This is really one of the strong university-led initiatives. Yes, Nikki's putting. I like this team effort in the chat, so I can focus on these slides. Nikki will handle any conversations in the chat around Digiscape or these sorts of things moving forward. Broadband Ready, occurring with the different universities in all 10 regions. We're going to be highlighting the stories and the work. It's no secret all of the sort of like Digital Equity Act funding disruptions have sort of like shifted so many different things as you've heard on this call. And so it's really exciting to be able to kind of highlight some of the work that these universities have still been able to do over this past year. So stay tuned for that. And then lastly, one of the major initiatives we help out on too is the Illinois Broadband Connections newsletter, which everybody on here should subscribe to. There's a link there that takes you to the IBL news page where you can see the archive and the mailing list. And not to spoil things, but we are going to be shifting platforms into the new year. So it's just really important, I think, to stay engaged on that and on top of your emails as we make that transition so that you can kind of stay in the loop on all things broadband, digital equity, digital inclusion in Illinois. Okay, the last slide I just wanted to share quickly on just some select highlights of the lab this year. Philip and Shabik on our data team have been really hard at work, kind of organizing and pivoting all the different changes that we've seen to the federal programs. And so I just want to highlight a few tools and opportunities. You've heard them on these calls before, but just in case people are unaware, if you go to the Illinois Broadband Lab website, we have a whole map and data tab at the top where you can see some really, really interesting, dashboards and maps looking at kind of different aspects of the digital divide, different aspects for infrastructure investment. So one of the ones or two of the ones that I wanted to highlight is the broadband availability dashboard. This is really helpful for people working in nonprofit spaces to kind of like drill down to your local community and kind of just get a good starting point of where is the investment, what are the kind of access challenges in a particular area. It's taking a lot of the work that has been developed as part of the Illinois Broadband map and put it into a format that is a little bit easier for people based on hexagonal distribution. So that's that middle image there. That's the broadband availability dashboard. And then lastly, one of the really exciting projects that the lab has been working on is this BEAD Connect Illinois Round 4 provisional awards map. It's very easy to use. You can kind of see, okay, where is funding from Connect Illinois Round 4 or the BEAD program going in Illinois, which internet service providers are planning where based on projects, and also very, very key, which technology types are going to be there. So if you can look on the map on the right, you can see it kind of color coded based on technology type with fiber in green, satellite in red, fixed wireless in blue, and then coax cable in yellow. So you can kind of just get a very quick understanding, okay, what type of technology is going to be rolling out with infrastructure investments over the next several years. So we hope you take advantage of some of these data and mapping resources on the IBL website, and I'll pass it back to Alicia. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Robbie, for sharing. And I have actually a flyer of the event that you all are attending tomorrow. If you wanted to speak to today, if anyone is in the Cairo area. Robbie, are you there?
Sorry,
That's okay.
you're cutting out for me. I heard Robbie, but I didn't hear
Oh,
before that.
I was just sharing the flyer for the event that you all are attending later on this evening. If you wanted to speak to this for a moment.
I am not going to be attending this event tonight. If anyone else on the call from the lab is and wants to speak to this, they can.
I'm not from the lab, but I could speak to this a little bit. So this event has a bit of an IIN history to it. So the Social Innovation and Impact Subcommittee provides seed grants every year to interesting projects, worthy projects. This was one of the first ones that we funded several years ago. So to see their progress and to see how far they've come has been really exciting. A number of folks from the University of Illinois system are attending tonight. I don't exactly know everybody who's going to be there, but it should be a really wonderful event.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nikki, for sharing. Appreciate it. And thank you again, Robbie, for sharing your updates from the Illinois Broadband Lab. All right, we're going to move on to our partner spotlight.
And
Um, sorry.
Alicia, this is Jeanette
Oh,
Tamayo.
Jeanette, you
Sorry.
are here. Okay.
Yes, I could not. I'm driving, so my apologies for butting in right now, but I wanted to give a little bit more context to the Cairo, Illinois project. Many may not know that the history of migration for Black community to Illinois from Mississippi went through Cairo, and at one point, Cairo was going to be the capital of the state of Illinois, and played a very prominent role. And it is a time um, when there was a tremendous amount of engagement. It is extraordinarily rich in the oral history of the Black community and the Black migration. So this project seeks to do two things. One, honor and recognize that trail and highlight what that migration pattern was. And two, capture the oral histories from individuals who lived through that tumultuous time, and use these stories to help inform how we can move forward in the future into a more forgiving and welcoming environment. We are absolutely thrilled to be able to support this kind of an effort, because it also speaks to exactly what we're doing in broadband, which is giving voice and choice and access to everyone. And this is one of the ways of doing it. The hope is to, in the future, be able to digitize some of the information so that it's available vis-a-vis the web. Initially, it is oral histories that will be taken one by one as they find former Cairo residents throughout Illinois, connections to Cairo, as well as the existing community. And happy to, if anybody wants more, feel free to write in the chat, and Nikki and I will connect with you. Thank you, Alicia.
No, thank you, Jeanette. Thank you for sharing the flyer this week. So I appreciate that you were able to make it to share a little bit on the history of this particular event and what is happening in that area in our state. So thank you very much for sharing. And yes, if there are any questions, because of time, I'm going to actually wait until all of the presentations are complete. And then we'll have Q&A if you can hang on for a little while after our presentation. But in the meantime, please share any questions, comments in the chat. I get them, we get them, and we will share. Anybody wants to share their contact information from the teams, the respective teams that have shared already, IOB and IBL, please put your contact information in the chat. That will be helpful. Thank you all so much. So we're going to move on to our partner spotlight. The Computer Equity Network is a group that started a couple of years ago, actually, and it was just one participant at that time. If you are familiar, if you have been around the Illinois Office of Broadband, you may have, for a while, you may have noticed that we had this name on our website because of restructuring and adding new members to this group. We removed it, and now we're back on our website, and now we're launching formally the Illinois Tech Reuse Network. So I am just going to speak briefly on the Computer Equity Network, because we have members of each of our refurbishing organizations here that will share a bit on who they are and their involvement. But the Computer Equity Network, our mission is, to work as we're a network that works with all of the main refurbishing organizations serving Illinois. So each of these organizations, with the exception of one, they're all national. They all with the exception of another, have locations here in Illinois. Some of them you're familiar with, like CompuDop and PCs for People. But they're all serving our communities here with refurbishing devices and other programs. And what we decided to do, what I wanted to do is just bring everyone together so that we can have a collective and we can discuss where are some of those gaps in access to various different devices, whether it's laptops, desktops, tablets, as well as some of the services, other services that they provide, which includes digital literacy skills training, tech support, and of course, hotspots. Again, I know many of you have taken advantage of the opportunities and have had device distribution events throughout in your specific areas. But we are now a collective, although they're still working as who they are, as a set organization a couple of them have been around much longer than IOB. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and actually, I'll go to the next slide before I pass this on. So our Illinois Tech Reuse Network, what we're doing is we are asking individuals, organizations, and all entities to let us know about the devices that you have that you would like to refurbish. And we're hoping that all of those devices that are old, that you're not using, will no longer sit in your closet, on the side, in the office, and that you'll take advantage of this campaign that we have. We have a schedule where we have actually a donation form where you'll be able to go on our website, complete the donation form with your contact information. Let us know which devices you're using. If we had more time, I would show you what that form looks like, but we do have an example here of which devices there are, your contact information, and then also how many devices. If it's less than 15 devices, is it more than 15 devices? We have donation drop-off sites, as well as connecting with the organizations that will come out and pick up your various different devices. Each of the organizations have committed as an organization for safe cleaning of all of the devices that are donated and then redistributed to the various different communities and households. And so our partners include CompuDop, PCs for People, Human IT, and the Power Up Project, which I'm really excited for you to learn more about as well. And so again, our website is up. You can go to the Illinois Office of Broadband's website. You'll see on the left side tab, Illinois Tech Reuse Network. And there you'll be able to find all the information that you need regarding how to donate, understanding more about what each of these organizations does as it relates to tech waste, keeping the tech waste out of landfills, and also some of the other security information that is expressed on the website. We are looking to expand. This is our soft launch literally today. And we'll have more of a formal launch in January. So we are looking for donation sites. You will have access to this PowerPoint for all of the presentations that were shared today. But these are some of the things that we're looking for as it relates to the device donation sites, how to become a donation site, and why should you become a donation site. The why is to help support those in need of affordable devices. Many of us, including myself, I have to admit, I still need to donate a couple of my devices. So it's individuals as well as organizations. Do not let it sit to the side. Donate them so that others can use them. So our organizations can properly refurbish them and then redistribute to communities throughout our state. At this time, I am going to pass the mic to one of our refurbishing organizations and partners with the Computer Equity Network and the Illinois Tech Reuse Network. CompuDop, I believe Lisa or Mike may be here. Okay, I know that they were traveling um, to doing the work that they do around the state, but also outside of the state. So with CompuDop, for those of you who do not know, they are a refurbishing organization, but what they do is they also provide digital literacy skills training for students in elementary school, middle school, high school. They also provide technology training and resources for youth. So youth meaning between the ages of 16 and 26 for career development, career readiness to, not everyone is going to go to a 4-year school or extensive 4 or even 2-year school. But there are the technical skills that we all know that we need to be abreast on to function in just everyday living as well as developing those skills for further careers. So here's the impact of what they have been doing. 91% of early learners, first to second grade, express increased basic keyboarding and keypad skills. For those of us who are educators, and specifically those of us who've been educators in this field, we understand, and just everyone, especially even parents, we understand the importance of starting at the very and early ages with technology. And in order to have technology, again, we need to have some devices, some functional devices. So CompuDop has been, again, not just, involved in the refurbishing of devices, but they have been involved in teaching, in digital literacy skills training. And here are some of the quotes that were shared from one from a second grade. I like that I got to learn about animals. Well, I'm sure that was a very creative project that they had. I don't know directly, but we know that, with technology, there are all kinds of applications that are being used or can be used within the education, within classes, in classes as well as outside of class. All right, and now I'm going to pass on to our second member of the Computer Equity Network, the Power Up Project, very unique project. And if Kyle or any of the members of the Power Up Project are here, if you'd like to unmute yourself and share who you are and what you're doing. Okay. All right, Kyle or anyone from the Power Up Project. Okay, so this is a unique group. And one of the main reasons why they may not be here is because they're a group of teenagers. At this time, what is it, 148? They're probably in class. They do have some alumni who are still participants of this group, but this isn't an established nonprofit organization based out of Naperville, and they've been around since 2018. We have been meeting with them in the group. I've met with them individually outside of the Computer Equity Network, and the work that they have been doing is amazing. They are if you will, boots on the ground. They work out of their homes as far as refurbishing is concerned. They are certified. They are, they have certification for, refurbishing and safety and so forth. But at this time, because they're students, they have not been able to purchase a building or any other type of facility. And so they're doing what they can out of the places that they use. But they've been around since 2018. And as you see, their numbers show the work that they've been doing. 600 plus devices have been donated. 1,100 plus devices have been collected. and 22 community organizations. As you see here, these are just a few of the organizations they've been serving, not just in the Naperville, but also the surrounding communities of Naperville, which includes some of the Chicagoland areas as well. They've been working with various different organizations, libraries, education centers, churches as well, to provide devices. Both they do work both hands-on work with helping with tech support as well as refurbishing various different devices. So I'm very glad to have met them and very happy to be working with them and to share their information with you all, so that you will know more about who they are and to inspire you and perhaps inspire you for some of the programs that you may be considering that you're working with in this space of digital equity and digital inclusion opportunities. Our next organization is Human IT, and I will pause now to let Erin share a little bit more about Human IT.
Thank you so much, Alicia. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Erin Lorandos, and I am with Human IT. We are a social enterprise that creates equitable access to opportunity by providing devices, internet access, digital skills training, and tech support for communities that we've been talking about today that have been left on the wrong side of the digital divide. And at the same time, we empower businesses and organizations to do good by diverting their technology that they no longer need from our landfills to protect our planet. So that whole reuse cycle that we've been hearing about is exactly what we do. And we do work nationwide. Our vision is to inspire a world where conscious capitalism drives sustainable and just opportunities for all people, organizations, and our planet. So in addition to collecting the e-waste and making those computers re-available into the community, we also, as you heard from other organizations, provide the asset disposition, providing that secure, responsible, and environmentally sound process for managing the end of life of your organization or personal IT devices as they are no longer needed. We do use a NIST-approved method to destroy that data so that you can be rest assured that your information won't be passed on to the next user, and it definitely won't be sitting there for anyone to be able to grab. You can see on the screen here some information. Since our founding in 2012, we have distributed over 500,000 computers. We've connected over 100,000 households to the internet. We have served over 11,000 digital literacy learners, provided 30,000 tech support tickets being resolved, meaning they've gotten their answers, and diverted over 22 million pounds of e-waste. In Illinois, just in this last year, we have collected over 180,000 pounds of tech that's keeping it out of the landfills, of course, and provided digital literacy and digital navigation training for over 100 people. And that's just a place to start. We're hoping to expand that, of course, as we strengthen our relationships in Illinois. If we could go to the next slide, please. So here are our main services that we offer around the digital inclusion side of things. As we mentioned, the devices themselves, and that's right-sized for the user, not one size fits all. Not everybody needs the same computer when they're getting started or working through their goals. So we make sure that the right device ends up in the right people's hands. We do have help to find high-speed, low-cost internet, as well as the support that people need to apply for those benefits. Again, we host those digital literacy classes, and much of that is available just through our website for free, so we can make sure that people have what they need. And then that personalized tech support. So not only handing a person a device, but making sure that we follow up with them and they're comfortable using it into the future. Just this year, we partnered with 60 Decibels, which is an independent impact measurement firm that specializes in listening to program participants, and found out some really interesting things about how our programs are impacting the community at large. Over 80% of recipients of our services say that their quality of life has improved. over 50% report better ability to manage their own finances. 49% report improved healthcare access, which is super important. We know that access to high-speed internet and devices to use it, and more importantly, the comfort and security and knowing you're doing it right is a super social determinant of health. And so hearing that statistic is very important to us. We also have seen 53% reporting improved access to government services, which especially with the changes, to programs at the federal level, being able to navigate that type of thing safely and securely and feeling empowered to do so is super important. Now, this one really gets me. 66% of people in this survey had never accessed digital inclusion services before working with us at Human IT. So that one really, it gets you in the feels when you know that people didn't realize that these services were available and hadn't connected with a trusted source for them prior to interacting with our organization. And I'm pretty new on the team and I just love being a part of it. So thank you so much for being here. I did share my contact information higher up in the chat and would love to continue conversations with anyone who's interested.
Thank you so much, Erin, and thank you for sharing that data, the statistics. And I think it's just a reminder for all of us to remember why we do what we do, why you all do what you do as those who are working in the field now, right? Who are offering services and looking for, to connect with others and or looking for other services to share with someone. Remember, these organizations can help you, partner with you, and so forth. So I'm going to go to our last member at this time, which you're very familiar with, PCs for People. I wanted to see if I cannot see over here. For some reason, my mouse is not toggling properly, so I can't see what's in the chat, nor can I see all who is here. But if Lauren, if you are in the room, if you would like to share just a little bit of some of the things that people may not know and some of the data here.
Sure, I am in the room, and
Okay.
if you had gotten that mouse from PCs for People and it wasn't working, you could have called our tech support and gotten that taken care of. And I'm sure that's true with Human IT and CompuDopt and everybody else as well. So this slide shows, as most of you know, we take retired computers and refurbish them for those in need. And this slide shows some of our impact, and this is just our 2025 impact in the state of Illinois. In Illinois, we have 2 facilities, so we can service the whole state. We can pick up retired computers anywhere in the state and process them either in Cook County or in Belleville, Illinois, depending where they come from. And in both of those locations, we perform secure data destruction because people are scared to give up their computers. Probably each of you is scared to give up your old personal computer because of the data you have on it. And think if you're controlling the computers for a bank or a law firm and all the important data that's on there. So we're certified by the National Association of Information Destruction. And that certification means the data will get securely destroyed or the hard drive will get physically shredded so that data will be safe. So heading back to our impact here, you can read the numbers on the right side of the screen. That's our Illinois impact, but numbers are numbers. But I just want to share one of the highlights I had this year when I was making a presentation to a group called Chicago Hack Night. And this is a group of really smart people who spend one of their weekday evenings every week trying to solve civic problems mostly through data analysis. And they asked me to present PCs for People and what we do. And at the end, there was Q&A, and I was a little intimidated because they are all really smart people. But they had good questions. I could answer them. And then somebody raised their hand and said, I don't have a question. I have a comment. And I was a little bit worried. And she said, 3 years ago, I wanted to further my education in technology, but I didn't have a computer. I got one from PCs for People, and I learned enough so that I can be here using my tech skills to give back to the community. And I found that really touching. And each of those 4,650 plus computers that we distributed in Illinois this year has a story like that behind it. And we don't want to forget those stories. The left side of the slide here shows our threshold for who can get a computer from PCs for People based upon 2 times federal poverty level, and then also a couple of our partners who have helped us distribute computers. So if your organization is serving low-income folks, you can partner with us to get computers to the people that you're serving. And then this talks a little bit about our e-waste recycling services. I already said people are scared to give up their computers, but I'm happy to say that we have over 800 partners for our 2 Illinois locations, and that's 800 individuals who made that decision on behalf of their organization to work with PCs for People and trust PCs for People to handle their data deletion, to make sure their IT didn't end up in landfills, and that we would do the right thing with it. There's a few logos there in the lower center of some of the organizations that have contributed computers to us. I saw on the call here we had somebody from Pavlov Media and from Peoria County, also both contributors to PCs for People. And I'd like everybody here to think about whether it's the place you work for, the entity you pay your taxes to, your alma mater, where can we be collecting computers, keeping them out of landfills, and getting them to the people who need them most, and connect them with myself or the other nonprofit refurbishers here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lauren, for sharing. I am one of those, so I am going to have to practice what I am preaching and donate some of my my devices. And if you are in the same space as an individual and again as an organization, please do so. The Illinois Tech Reuse Network is on our website. There's a donation form you can fill out, and any one of these refurbishing organizations will be able to assist you. I'll also set up, as if you haven't done so or attended any device event, redistribution events, they can set those up as well. Really grateful for you all. And I have to say, I've known Lauren now for a couple of years, and he always is able to pivot and help me laugh. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're coming to the end of our meeting. I wanted to just highlight here are some announcements that I've put together for you all. Some of our organization partner websites here, program services, both national, the Connected Nation Teens Tech program, as well as Forefront. And then, of course, our organization, DCO, or our agency, excuse me. And then you'll see some upcoming events. I See Stars actually is one of the I believe the host for the Hack Night. So you can go and find out more about what Lauren was talking about and just other things that they're doing. The Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce, one of our formal, Cook County's former digital navigator, is now the executive director of the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce. The other site I wanted to bring to your attention, these are grants. Please go and check them out. I separated them, researched them for you all. There's quite a few under the third tab. So please go and see the various different grants that will support you and the work that you and your partners are doing. Reminder, net inclusion, if you have not done so, please, let's show out. We may be the only ones because we're here in Illinois. But seriously, let's show out. Let's show everyone across the country that we will show out because we are not afraid of snow nor cold. But what we are passionate about is digital inclusion and opportunities. So if you have not done so, you and your team, please register. Also become affiliate of NDIA. We had a presentation last month from Gina, who shared this information with us. Another announcement, 2025 Award for Excellence in Telehealth. It is next Tuesday. So please look at this when I share out your recap. You'll get an opportunity to find out more and register. Stay in touch if you have not done so. Please sign up my colleagues and coworkers mentioned earlier in this meeting. Please sign up for the newsletter. Robbie said it's changing, so you want to be in the know. Also go to our website, go to the Illinois Broadband Labs website. And without any further ado, I'd like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. At this time, if you're still here, I'm going to end the show and I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and share any questions, comments, announcements. And before you do that, I want to say thank you all for just being with us this year. It has been a tough year for us. If we have it, we will offer opportunities. That is what we do, right? And so it's been tough for us, but I'm glad we were able to pivot as a team within, and then also as a team with you all. So thank you for everything that you're doing, everything that you're continuing to do. Thank you for your partnerships, your friendships. I appreciate you greatly, and I know my team does, our team does as well. So you can unmute yourself and share if you'd like to. And now I can see what's in the chat while you do that.